Hi, my name is Wong, and in this video I want to talk about the newly launched Olympus M.Zuiko 150-400 F4.5 Pro lens. Let's do this! Right from the start, let me tell you that I don't have the lens with me. Usually Olympus come to me with the early access of a camera or lens they're about to launch. I'll have a chance to take plenty of sample photographs. Then based on these photographs, I will share my thoughts and do a full review, publishing them on this YouTube channel or my blog. Now, it is not necessarily a bad thing that I don't have this 150-400 Pro lens with me at this particular moment. Do bear with me. Currently, Malaysia is still under partial lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. All the public parks are closed. The National Zoo, the Bird Park, and the Butterfly Park, they are all closed. And because of this partial lockdown, all public events are prohibited. There is no sports, there is no dance, there is no art performance. Nothing is allowed in the public space. So even if I have the 150-400 Pro lens now, there is only so much that I can do with the whole world watching on me, with the pressure to deliver meaningful shots. I think I cannot take that pressure. So it is a relief, sort of, to not have the lens with me now. And maybe in the future, I will have the lens to test, and hopefully things get better in Malaysia and I'm able to go out and truly test the lens to get those meaningful shots to share with you guys. Until then, I think it's best that someone else in other parts of the world with less restrictions will have the lens to go out and test it and truly shoot with it and to show you some really good photographs. However, at the meantime, that doesn't mean that I cannot talk about the lens. And I do have a lot to say about this newly launched Olympus M.Zuiko 150-400 f4.5 Pro. I think this lens represents a lot of the boundaries that Olympus is trying to push. I know that a lot of people are complaining, oh, the lens is too huge. This defeats the purpose of Micro Four Thirds in the first place, to create truly portable, small and light system. And some people actually also comment on this eye-watering, really expensive price tag. Well, I'm not saying that all those things are not true, but if you truly look at what this lens represents, what Olympus has carved out and put into this particular lens, all the technology and innovations that they have managed to squeeze into this 150-400 Pro lens, I think it is a technological wonder. Number 1. This is the first lens from Olympus that features a built-in teleconverter. I'm not sure if there are any other lenses from other manufacturers in the world existing currently with a built-in teleconverter. Let me know in the comments below if there are any other lenses with such technology. Olympus has this built-in teleconverter 1.25 times, which effectively would increase the reach from 400 to 500mm, and that's 1000mm equivalent in 35mm format. That is insane. You get that straight out of the lens with a little bit of compromise, of course. And it is a genius move, I think, to have this option, because it's either you want the maximum aperture to be wider at f4.5 or you want a little bit more reach, but you compromise a little bit on the aperture to 5.6. I think it is a good option to have, and knowing that this teleconverter is built into the lens itself, there should be very little compromise. I don't know, I haven't tested the lens, but I would expect a negligible compromise of image quality, if any, because the lens is together with this built-in teleconverter. All the optics should work together synonymously. It should be optimized to deliver really great image quality. Number 2. 8 stops effectiveness of the 5-axis sync IS. Olympus managed to even further push the effectiveness of their image stabilization. That is insane. Previously, using the 300 F4 Pro, having the 5-axis sync IS on selected Olympus-only bodies, especially the flagship models, the maximum image stabilization effectiveness that you can get is about 6 stops effectiveness. Now, they managed to push this further to 8 stops effectiveness. Now bear in mind, the 8 stops claim is only true for 300mm reach. If you zoom further to 400mm or beyond, then it is only about 6 stops equivalent effectiveness. Now, even so, 8 stops at 300mm and 6 stops at 400mm, that is truly incredible. I can't testify, I can't confirm that this is truly effective because I don't have the lens to test and verify myself, but I can't wait to see, I can't wait for my mind to be blown if this is true. Number 3. 2000mm equivalent focal length in 35mm format. That is truly crazy. Now this is only true if you have attached the MC20 2x teleconverter. And yes, the Olympus 150-400 Pro lens is fully compatible with existing Olympus teleconverters, the MC14 and the MC20. Say that you have attached the MC20 2x teleconverter to the lens, plus the built-in teleconverter 1.25 times. From 400, you can get all the way to 1000mm maximum focal length, which is equivalent to 2000mm in 35mm format. I can't think of any other lenses at such massive focal length. If there is any out there, please leave it in the comments below, but I could be wrong. I don't have the time to do all the research about what lenses are available from 20 years ago that can be more than 2000mm focal length, at least on the consumer range, right? Something that we can buy off the shelf. And I think this is the only lens at the moment that can reach 2000mm, and I can see how this is useful in a lot of situations. A lot of birders actually who use the Olympus 300mm came to me, hey Robin, the 300mm F4 Pro is not long enough, the bird is still too far away. And I think this is the solution. If 2000mm is still not long enough, I think that either the bird is not worth photographing, you can just forget about it, or you're just not close enough. There's no more excuses. Olympus is giving you all these tools they can use to get the shots that you need. 2000mm, that's insane. Number 4. This is the first lens from Olympus that features heat-resistant coating, and because of that, the lens is white in color. I know we all think that, hey, white lens, it is Canon. There's a reason why Canon use white paint on their lenses. The coating itself is heat-resistant, and we all know that the white color, it doesn't absorb the heat as much as black. And in certain countries like Malaysia, in tropical country where you get plenty of sunlight, heat can be a problem, especially if the surface area of the lens is huge, and this is true for larger and longer lenses. So it only makes sense that this lens 150-400 Pro, being the largest and longest lens from Olympus, is white in color. I think this is quite an interesting shift in the way that Olympus designs the lens. I think that this is the right way moving forward to consider, hey, maybe a white colored lens is not such a bad idea. And finally, number 5. The Olympus M.Zuiko 150-400 Pro lens will be the first lens that is sold under JIP. If you look at the timetable, this lens, although it is announced now, just a few days ago, but the lens will be on sale in January 2021. That means that by that time, Olympus has fully surrendered themselves to JIP, and JIP is the new owner of the Olympus brand, and it takes control of all the current Olympus products. I truly find this interesting because it sort of gives JIP the continuity that they need, as Olympus has promised that, hey, this lens is coming by the end of this year, and they've fulfilled that promise. They've announced it now before the year ends, and of course this is not like any other typical lenses. It is a little bit difficult in the production point of view, manufacturing such a complex lens, and having it being sold in January makes sense because it says, hey, we are handing this over to you. Now you're taking over everything from us. This will be the first product, and this is at the top of the top of the top of all the M.Zuiko lenses. This is the most expensive, the most prestigious lens from Olympus. It represents the best of the best from what Olympus has to offer. And here you go. This will be your first product to sell after you've taken over Olympus. I have read the comments and the general feedback from everyone everywhere in the world. Generally, there are two complaints about the Olympus 150-400 Pro lens. I'm not here to defend Olympus, I'm not here to rebut the comments, but I'm just here to give my thoughts. The two comments are, the lens is too expensive and the lens is too big. Now, I understand that it is expensive. This is not the lens for everyone. It is a very specialized lens, and I don't see myself buying the lens unless somehow miraculously I have become a wildlife or sports photographer, which I currently am not, so I don't see the need for me to invest in this lens. But if you are a wildlife photographer, you earn a bulk of your earnings from shooting wildlife, or if you're a sports photographer and you're using micro four thirds, then the 150-400 Pro makes sense. And it may be expensive, true, but if it can truly deliver the highest of the highest image quality, if it's truly sharp and the rendering is incredible and autofocus is fantastic, and if the claim of the 8 stops image stabilization effectiveness is true, if all this is true, and after you've attached the MC20 teleconverter, if you use the 1.25 times built-in teleconverter and still can get this amazing image quality, I can't verify now because I don't have the lens. If you can get all that, of course it is worth paying for. It is the only lens in the world that currently can reach all the way to 2000mm equivalent focal length. And it all comes down to the performance of the lens, which I am genuinely curious to find out. And yes, the lens is huge, but we have another option, 100-400 f5.6.3, which was released like half a year ago. And that lens is much smaller, it is more affordable. So if you can't go for the 150-400 Pro, it's not like there's no other option. Yeah, you can't go to 2000mm equivalent, but with the 2 times teleconverter, you can get 1006mm equivalent, and that is still really impressive. And it all comes down to what we can afford. Like, I can't afford the 150-400 lens, and if I need this range to do non-professional stuff, just for my personal stuff, no hesitation, I will get a 100-400 non-pro lens. And as I've reviewed it very, very recently, it is a fantastic lens. Although it is not a pro lens, but it's very close to what you can get from a true pro lens from Olympus. So there you go. If you think that 150-400 Pro is too big and too expensive, you have a smaller and cheaper option. That's all I have to share about the new Olympus M.Zuiko 150-400 F4.5 Pro lens. Unfortunately, I don't have any additional information to share at this moment. However, I know you also already know from the official product page from Olympus. But hey, I can't wait to get my hands on the actual sample unit to test it myself, and hopefully by then the situation in Malaysia improves and I can shoot the kind of images that I want to shoot for my review. I would love to hear your thoughts. What's your opinion on this new lens from Olympus? Please leave it in the comments below. And if you found my sharing useful, please consider buying me a cup of coffee, or you can contribute directly to my PayPal account so that you can continue to see videos like this and to see me continue reviewing Olympus gear or any other gear and also talk about photography. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to this channel, and I'll definitely see you again in the next one. Until then, please go out and take more photographs. Bye-bye.